Yeah.
Imagine making a video. Shinyodd could not imagine
It
making.
would take me literally like 2 days to sit and just edit like a stream down, and people would probably watch it still. But I'm like, no,
Oh,
it's not high
absolutely,
effort
yeah.
enough. It's not high effort enough. And then I go, but the high effort stuff takes effort. No, okay, I'm good. I'm in a spiral. All right. Yeah, I want to do high effort only, and then it's like, no, but that does take effort though. Why would I? No.
All right. We are now starting our podcast. It's had its name changed. Yeah, this is the official start of the podcast. All right.
Okay. Here we go.
Yes? Oh, I thought you were going to say something. All right.
Oh no, I don't have to introduce you.
All right, we've changed the name of the podcast because Vroom was taken, Vroom was taken, everything was taken, so we're going now with Cars and Games, kind of like Cars and Coffee, except really bad at making names. Today we have with us Shinyodd and Twin Turbos again, so say hello.
Good afternoon, fellas.
Hello.
And today we're going to touch on a couple of topics. The first, actually, we'll start with the last ones first. We're going to talk about the new T33, which is made by the McLaren dude or whoever that... What's his name? Gordon Murray? That's the one. We're also going to take a quick look at the Tesla truck. Anger people have towards electric vehicles, which is seeming to really ramp up a lot this probably year. But then I noticed a lot of it this year. Spanning content creators on YouTube, then the new Gran Turismo 7 release. The new automation update has lots of now extra options in the tuning section, so we're going to talk a little bit about that, and a little bit right now on how we did this month. Well, I had a bit of a corker myself. I did a bit of a collaboration thing with... Are you right there, Twin Turbos?
No, go on.
Are you just laughing at how bad my introduction was?
No, I'm laughing at like topics because like half the topics, absolutely no idea.
Oh dear. Well, that's what we're here on the
this week. All right, no problems. I'll take over.
20-minute podcast sounds good to me. So
Good to the viewers.
With the first topic, we'll go on. Like, I had a bit of a corker this month. I had my thing with Car Mighty this week. That was pretty cool. And my views are dropping off dramatically, though. I think that's just because the ebb and flow of BeamNG and automation.
Indeed, yes. It has been sort of flatlining a little bit recently because there hasn't been too much to say on the topic. I mean, BeamNG hasn't had any massive updates per se, and usually when they do, it's only really like going to be relevant for like a couple of days or so as like the bigger guys get their hands on it, really. And then when it comes to automation, generally the YouTube presence of it obviously is kind of low anyway, so it can be a big update, and it's like, you know, not too many interested people are floating around here like, oh, I want to see what the tuning options do, because usually they'll go and find out themselves. So when it comes to updates and stuff, you know, we can't rely on it as much as, say, like a GTA YouTuber or something would, you know.
Yeah, those GTA YouTubers, or the 5M YouTubers, they can make the same content over and over again, and I still lap it up.
Like, they can crawl all over it, exactly. But, like, fair enough, if they're able to, I have no hate, like, fair enough. But, like, it is very, I'm envious of their position. I wish I could do what they're doing, because that's piss easy, bro. Oh my god.
Wait, Shiny, weren't you just saying how, like, you were contemplating just, like, you know, trimming a stream down to like a video and posting that out? Isn't that?
Yeah, but none of the viewers heard that, so it's nothing to worry about.
Well, now that's going to be like the headline of the podcast. Shinyodd is holding back on content because he doesn't like viewers. So one of the topics was they're spamming content creators, and that's something I do quite often to try to draw them into our group that we have. And Carmighty is one of the ones, and hopefully that's going to happen with our group. But also, I tried to contact, who's the big YouTuber for 5M currently?
That does not narrow it down.
He also does BeamNG stuff. Bay Area Bugs. I've tried contacting their group. You don't know Bay Area Bugs?
I'm going to pretend that I do for the sake of the podcast. Yeah, I do.
I'm not going to pretend. I'm just going to look, you know, woefully ignorant.
a lot of the viewers will probably know those guys, and I was hoping to contact them because they do a lot of like very simple sort of stuff where they have somebody come up with a scenario on why they would have to run away from police. They get pulled over, they have the conversation, they do all like the police stuff in the proper way, and I was hoping to
It's
because
like a role-playing type, you know.
yeah, well that's
Okay.
they're from 5M, so
Yeah,
oh,
that
it's
makes
roleplay.
sense.
Okay,
I
yeah,
got
no,
it.
I do roleplay, just different kind.
all right.
I'm not going to ask for an elaboration, but I kind of want one.
I think we'll
Next
keep this
question.
PG.
I've already ruined it.
All right, so what I was thinking about doing was because they do BeamNG stuff as well, because like they're crashing and all that sort of fun, is contacting them to get to do automation builds for more interesting sort of stuff with them. So that's something potentially that could come up in the future if you're both interested in joining that too.
Yeah,
It's on the table.
yeah.
Well, that's a pause that's going to get edited out.
Oh, absolutely.
No. No, I'm up for like pretty much anything as long as like the time is working. I've been busy with like with work and like real life stuff, and I mean, is this not real life? Who knows? So
Definitely not in real life. Like, look at me.
no, I think
This is a
yeah.
stock photo from IKEA,
That is a
motherfucker.
very good cosplay you got on there. It's very convincing that it's a
Oh,
cartoon.
thank you. I know, right? I'm literally a living JPEG, but it's
Oh, it's a
fine.
JPEG. Oh,
It's more
I've lost
comfortable than you
respect.
think.
Oh,
Anyway, so the other side of that conversation was getting spammed by content creators. Do you guys get that very much from like smaller content creators that are asking for collabs and stuff?
I kind of wish I was, because it would give me something to do, but no. Honestly, no. Never
I
have
do-
been, quite frankly.
I do get
Maybe people just don't like me. Maybe they don't want to work with me. Maybe I'm just realizing this now. Maybe it's just a case of people don't do that. Maybe it's just me.
I think it's the JPEG. If it was a PNG, we wouldn't have problems.
They approach me and they're like, "You're a cardboard cutout, bro." Yeah, like it's. I mean, I say that as if that's not how I introduce myself already. I walk into servers and like, "Is that the real you?" And I'm like, "No, I'm a cardboard cutout shipped from Malaysia. What the fuck do you think I am?" And so now that I'm sitting here with a JPEG on screen representing myself, I suppose it's not exactly much different, is it?
Fair enough. So yeah, I'm actually quite surprised. I thought you got. Okay. that actually caught me off guard there for a second.
Cardboard cutout can move. Like, okay. You're learning a lot as we go along. Okay, so what's
Fair
the
enough.
audience?
So first you had the hand reveal on one of your streams with your toy cars, and now you've got like actual face reveal.
Cardboard cutters do have hands, yeah. You can't
You
see them
are
here,
actually-
but like they're there.
Oh wow.
You are
Yeah,
actually
it's crazy.
cardboard. All right, fair
It
enough.
really is. Anyway, about spamming, have you encountered such thing?
You cut out.
Oh, for God's sake. About spamming, have you encountered such a thing? Or is it just you that's doing the spamming?
I do a lot of spamming. I do a lot of emails and get a lot of no responses. I have contacted.
How much is a lot? Like 5?
I will
A
probably.
lot is one, so this is going to be an interesting number.
I send out a few emails a week generally to contenters that are on like a similar sphere, and I'm always concerned because out of our group, I am one of the smallest. I am now the third smallest kind of thing. And I'm not at the point where you can make a living from it, all that sort of stuff. So I feel like I'm quite impetuous. So my invitations to these people are always very apologetic. I'm sorry if I'm bugging you. So I was just kind of wanting to see whether you guys get annoyed by that sort of stuff.
Well, about the like apologeticness, actually, that kind of like it shouldn't, but it kind of does bother me because people reach out to me and they're like, "I'm so sorry, I'm bothering you," and I'm like, "No, you actually do the complete opposite. Thank you for reaching out. I appreciate it. Thank you." Like, someone wants to speak to me. Can you imagine it? Me having to not engage in conversation first? That's like a blessing. Don't fucking apologize for being the nicest man on earth. Yeah, no, I mean, in regards to like sending out, I don't think I've actually emailed someone about wanting a collab before. I've replied to collab offer emails, but I don't think I've sent any out per se, apart from like sponsorship ones, but they don't get replies either. So it's even Raid Shadow Legends won't reply to me, bro. That's how you know we're in the dumps here, okay?
Yeah.
They won't even
Oh.
reply to me. Well, actually, no. That's a lie. They do reply, but then they ghost me after I reply a second time. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're interested. All right. So here's what's going on. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna hear back from you again. You know, we did a sponsorship once before. What? It's on that video where I said come about 14 times in the first 20 seconds. Oh, that's why you don't want to do it with me again. Okay, I understand. It's okay. You could just told me that. We'll be on our merry way. But you know what's bad when Raid Shadow Legends doesn't sponsor you. But that's as far as collaborations go. I'm not talking about sponsorships and Raid Shadow Legends that won't actually sponsor me again. Yeah, no, I can't say I've answered any or sent out any collaboration offers over email, but what about you, Mr. Tin Turbos? Have you had any email shenanigans?
I don't like I've had like Discord DMs. I get like I don't want to say like one a week, but like maybe like one every couple weeks, or like used to a lot more, but used to like a couple times like a week, but like pretty often. I have sent out email collabs before. Very very not commonly. And it's mostly to like things I like enjoy. Like I've reached out to car designers channels and stuff. Because I think it'd be fun for them to do automation, just because like that just sounds like a fun thing for them to do, right? And also like sort of like similar-ish audiences, but not like a lot. But like I have reached out to people. I've had people who reach out to me, and I am not bugged. Anytime like I get like probably like I say on an average day when I'm like active and do bopping and stuff, like 10 or 20 messages from people every day just trying to talk to me, and I just try to talk to everyone because it's just fun, and no one's bugging me. Like no one needs to apologize. It's just like I'll talk to people,
Wow, I'm completely the opposite. But then again, I am from South Australia, and this is why I think I'm a little bit more steely when it comes to sending out emails, is because here in South Australia, we have the laziest companies and people in the world. You have to convince people to make money in South Australia. It is so infuriating trying to contact businesses. Like, for instance, trying to get work done, like to get a builder in to come to do some repairs on a house, or a whole bunch of different things. Like, they just will not respond. So I'm just used to not getting responses, people not replying, and then I realized that I probably am bugging some people.
I have experience with Australians not responding to my emails too.
Who specifically?
Yeah, is that like a common thing? Australians just reply to emails.
Australia is pretty bad with that, but South Australia is the worst.
Yeah, no, I had that exact same thing. I was trying to buy a car from Australia. Not a single one of them would even talk. Not one of them would even respond to an email. Even they don't even know it was foreign or anything. They could have been their next door neighbor for all they know. They didn't fucking reply though. How do they sell anything?
It is the worst thing in the world trying to buy something here in South Australia. You do have to send them multiple messages, but if you ever do want to do that, I don't mind being your contact here in Australia to help being the go-between for you.
Yeah, that would be very useful if it was ever necessary.
I'm also not furry, so you know about that.
Oh, well, okay, so that means you're publicly approachable. Okay, I get it. Alright, I see how it is. Yeah, okay, but at least you reply to emails, motherfucker. Get back in your Australian fucking crib house. Fucking. You're not going anywhere.
Anyway, let's move on to the next one. I suppose we can quickly touch on the new automation things. Have you guys tried out the new automation export update?
I have not, because I'm not using the open beta.
Open alpha, actually. It's worse than beta. Is it beta now? It might be beta now, but it was open alpha when it came out.
Oh, it's open alpha.
Still open alpha? I'm pretty sure it's still open alpha.
I think it might be.
Yeah. I haven't tried. I haven't did I even update automation yet? I don't. Hold on, let me see. I haven't updated the automation. I've not launched it.
Okay. So why haven't you joined the Optin Alpha there, Shinyodd?
Because there's a distinct lack of mods on that version. That's pretty much it. I swap between them if I need to go. There's a lot more now, but there's still like 150 at most compared to like the 600 odd I have on the old version.
Yeah, you did actually use the update because you used my bolide and then you poo-pooed on it.
That was when the update first came out, and that's when we were interested in trying all the new features that it added. And then I swapped back to the old version. And I swapped back to the new version again because I wanted to export some some new tires and stuff like that for just to slap onto a car from the old version in BeamNG, and then I downgraded again to go back and make new cars because that's where all the mods are. So I'm sort of swapping between them just to rip J beams and like models and stuff out of the new version, and then I'm actually using the old version to design them. So I'm being the most inconvenient possible.
Keep in mind that now you won't be able to swap things over quite so easily.
I'm aware of that.
A lot of things have changed, and a lot of wacky things, so it might behoove you to actually try it out again if you want to make something funny in your streams. What you can do is you can change the offset on your tires by meters. By lots and lots of meters. It is...
By infinity.
It is stupid. It is very, very... I don't know about infinity, but it is very stupid. Though some things are broken, like Campbell will add in toe-in and caster, and a lot of it is not quite polished.
Typical automation wobbly wheels, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, you change them one set, and then it's sort of like, oh, that's, yep, that's not really working out, is it?
I'm also about to release a new mod, which I think you, Shinyodd, might enjoy for one of your streams, but we'll leave that for another day. But yeah, so that's basically what I was going to go on there. If you don't know Shinyodd, because I'm assuming you don't watch my videos, there was a whole thing about, with the new things you can do to morph things in automation, you know how you can do that now?
Yes.
In the Optin Alpha. Making the tires wider does not give you more grip.
Yes.
So you have to make your tires like a taller dimension or whatever to make them as wide as possible, and then if you need them to be lower profile, then shrink them back down. So keep that in mind. But yeah, that was just one little thing I wanted to talk about. The next thing is Gran Turismo 7. Have you guys heard much about it? Are you guys interested?
Indeed. I've been playing it non-stop since the minute it released.
Really?
Yes. I have a solid like 35 plus hours in the game now. And it's been out for what, 2 days, 2.5. Yeah, it's been non-stop. I haven't played anything else. I just slept, woke up, played it, and slept, and then again. I've already completed the main progression of the cafe books. I am already, I'm quite far in. One could argue.
Oh my god! I'm surprised you weren't streaming it.
It's been hooked. I'm supposed to be streaming it today, actually, but I've already completed the main fucking cafe progression, so I don't know what part of it I'm going to stream, because at this point it's like, well, we've got to wait for the multiplayer leagues to sort of properly start up and whatnot now, and then you can get into that side of it.
Is there multiplayer yet?
Well, of course there is, yes, but it's early multiplayer, like literally the online export mode or whatever it is. The event at the minute is literally for the 3 starter cars, because it's the first few days of the game being out. But I'm already like way past that point, obviously, and so yeah, I'm just sort of waiting for the proper leagues to start and whatnot like that, and then I'll get into the multiplayer side of it, which I normally don't touch with racing games, but I'm interested to try it in this one because that was the big deal with sport. So interested to see what it's like. We've got to wait a little bit for the proper events to sort of start up and whatnot, obviously. And then we'll see. But I'm going to use the time now to just make some money in the game to make and build and buy cars, and then practice the physics, which I still need to get accustomed to.
That was one thing I was going to talk about, is there's a lot of grumblings about the money-grubbing nature of it. So they're talking about how like it takes a really long time to progress compared to sport to be able to buy anything. And then if you then buy something, there can be sometimes like limited edition buys that don't hang around for very long. So you either have to earn a buttload of money in a very short amount of time or buy credits.
My thing with that is, that's always been the thing with Gran Turismo. Because if you think back to even Gran Turismo 4, for example, obviously there's used cars that cycle, including incredibly rare ones that have a lot lower chance of popping up than other ones. And obviously it's actually a fixed cycle in Gran Turismo 4. It's not actually randomized, it is actually fixed. And so stuff like the Easter egg cars that pop up every 700 days only, like the Black Edition cars, as people would probably recognize them as. Stuff like that, yeah, if you don't have the money on time, you're not going to get them, you're going to miss them. They are like artificially limited.
Super expensive.
Well, they were. If you wanted all of them, it was 8 million. And this is Gran Turismo 4, and even the best money method in that game, 8 million is going to take you a very long time to grind out. But of course, back then there wasn't microtransactions, and that's why people are tickled a little bit differently by it now.
Yeah.
But here's the ultra giga Chad take, okay? Don't buy them. I don't know. I don't know why they're there in the first place. I don't support that. I don't support developers who put them there, obviously. I feel like it may be more of a Sony thing than a Polyphony thing, to be honest. But how can I know? But aside from that, I'm not going to buy them because I don't support microtransactions. And I don't think it's that hard to get money in this game because there's already an event that takes you about 4 minutes to complete. It's a rally event. Once you sort of cleared out your main progression path, there's a rally event. It's 3 laps. It takes you about 4 minutes to do, and if you do a clean race, you make 100k, which means you can get about 1.5 million credits, give or take, in about an hour. And that's pretty good, honestly. It's way better than it was in any old Gran Turismo game, like I've mentioned. So I would say it's not as bad as people think. I think just general progression. Yeah, you're only going to make 5,000 credits from racing a polo around the track for like 2 laps. But, progress further, and there's ways to make money, okay?
Yeah, because I saw one of them pop up for a YouTuber. They were talking about it. It was a $21 million Ferrari or something, and it was only
Indeed,
up for a short amount of time.
Incredibly expensive vehicles in the game. That's in the legendary thing, and they are limited. However, the game has a watchlist feature, which you can check off, and it'll notify you whenever that car becomes available again, which I think is actually quite useful, so you don't have the chance of accidentally missing it. As long as you check back and there's a little flag that tells you, hey, the car you're looking for is available. Go in, that car's there. You've saved the money. Go get it. I kind of like the fact that stuff like that is priced realistically because it makes them a lot more scarce and rare and much more of an achievement whenever you eventually have the money at the right time and get it. It feels very real. I like that about it.
But then, like the whole conversation that Jontron had about World of Warcraft, when that went to have microtransactions, the whole like, I worked my butt off to get this, but then somebody else just comes along and, hey, I got it too, and all they did was just spend money on it. So there's kind of that
well, it's kind of like even like GTA at that point, but I feel like that doesn't exactly kill the game because it didn't there most certainly. In fact, it made it even bigger, which obviously isn't a good thing in this case because microtransactions suck, but it is the simple case that it's not necessarily the death of something. And especially in this case, if you've seen the microtransactions for Gran Turismo 7, they're very overpriced as well, so that's even more reason to not get them, because if you wanted, like, I think it's 2 million credits is like 15 quid or something like that, and you're saying there's a like 21 million dollar Ferrari, that's going to cost you about what's that, 150 quid in real life. Just make the money in game. That's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough.
But if it's something like that, like I would prefer they did price it realistically than like drop the price all the way down just because microtransactions exist. So the best thing to do is to just not buy them if you don't support it. So there you go. It's about as complicated as it gets. Yeah, it sucks they're there in the first place, but I think the fact the game is always online is probably my bigger problem with it, to be honest. But even that you can negate in the meanwhile. But it does bode problems for the future because you want to play this game 20 years down the line. Well, you can't because the servers were dead in 2025. So good luck, Bozo.
Nostalgia is going to be a thing of the past.
Yep, and seeing as it feels to be a very good game, that's going to be quite a shame to be able to play all the Gran Turismo games up to 6, but not 7 in the future.
Yeah, or Sport.
Well, I can miss that one, that's okay.
So, you were talking about the new physics. I've heard that they have new physics. Are they less of an arcadey sort of game now?
I do not play Sport, and so I cannot comment on how different they are, but it is the opposite of arcade. It is very much...
6? Did you play anything like that?
I did not play 6, no. My last game was 4. My last game was very much 4.
Actually, that was the same as me. I had 4, and then I was like getting really into wanting to play Sport because I was watching a creator called GT Sport. Really, really fun. Oh, no. Super GT, sorry.
Super GT would make the GT Sport content, yes.
Yes.
He made that game look very appealing, and that's what tempted me to buy a PlayStation quite a while ago. And then I held off because I knew there would be something new coming, and it did come, and that's why I went and got a PS4 Pro for this. And I'm glad I waited. I think it's made the experience even better.
So you didn't get a PS5?
No, I'm on a PS4 Pro.
Okay then, yeah. So I also got myself a used PS4 and got myself GT Sport, and I was like, yes, I'm going to be so excited to play this. I started to play it, and I was really let down. It was way too arcadey for my personal likes. I
have no idea what it felt like, and even watching gameplay, it was not one of those games I could tell what it felt like. You know, it's one of those. But as for GT7, it's definitely like it's not the most simulator sim out there, but it's a sim, all right. The cars react the way they should do. Simcade is obviously accurate, and I still think, obviously, like I say, this isn't a full sim, but I still think it's sim enough for me to not want to call it a simcade. People will disagree, obviously. I think it rides the line, but I think riding the line is like, if you think about it the opposite way, think of Forza Motorsport. Your way, that's a simcade, but it's really an arcade. It's not really a sim. It's literally, if that's on the line between simcade and arcade, then Gran Turismo 7's on the line between simcade and sim. They're complete opposite ends of the spectrum, but still sort of borderline, if you know what I mean.
I get that.
So yeah, Forza Motorsport, not a full arcade, but it is. But then there's Gran Turismo 7, which isn't full sim, but it is. You know, it's just this middle ground in the middle, which is where like an older motorsport game would be maybe. And then on the complete opposite ends is where GT7 is, up towards the simulation end of the spectrum. If I could put them on a graph, you'd understand better. But you know, I hope you see what I'm saying.
I get it. You can make that into a JPEG and send that to me, even though I prefer a PNG.
That'd be very useful. It's just going to be like, imagine like a third, and a third. The middle bits is simcade, and the left bits is arcade, and the right bits is sim. And then right on the middle of those two sections is motorsport, and then Gran Turismo 7. There you go. You can imagine it in your head. If you can't imagine it, you're probably a preschooler, so that's okay. Not to worry. You won't be able to play Gran Turismo 7. But there is a motorsport game coming out later this year if you want to play it. Since you're a preschooler, I understand. So make your way down your Game Pass road, whatever it's called. But Gran Turismo 7 has been exceeding my expectations so far. I think definitely.
Oh, good. All right then, yeah, because I was wondering whether it had much of a place in modern gaming, as a lot of people are like really not liking the simcade genre very much. As Project Cars 3 came out, that was apparently the best simcade racer of the era.
Now, anybody says simcade, I'm not with them. That was a full arcade. That was Need for Speed Shift Reborn, and I do not like Shift, and I did not like Project Cars 3. Holy shit, that game made me want to put my foot through a orphan. I don't know. I didn't want to shout and scream about how bad it was, because I don't want to be that rude, because obviously
everyone was talking its praises, but nobody ever played it.
Were they real? The people were saying that, but I feel like people were more noisy about, like, it was always like the fans of Project Cars 2 and stuff were the noisy ones. So they're like, well, it's not like Project Cars 2, and I wasn't like that. I was willing to give it a shot, and I gave it a shot, and then I fucking hated it. So, you know, like, Grid Legends came out recently. I actually kind of feel like that game feels alright, surprisingly, for an arcade track racer. I went in expecting very little and was surprised. I was like, do you know what? It's not that bad. I would give it a solid 7 out of 10. That's just like, okay, it's good. It's alright.
Best arcade racer, Grand Theft Auto 5. You can't change my mind.
Yo, 5M racing servers, dude. Never beat them.
It's just a well-rounded arcade game, and it feels good. You do get rewarded for better driving, but you're also not punished for being a completely moron.
Yeah, and the physics are fairly balanced across all vehicles, but enough to make them feel different in most cases as well. So,
in Gran Turismo 7, is there an Audi TT as fast as a Bugatti Veyron still?
If you upgrade the shit out of it, maybe. Which you can now. And the upgrading is actually very expansive, I must say. You can even
there's a lot of it now.
Hydraulic handbrakes and, oh my god, some fantastic... And even visual customization goes way beyond Forza. Every car has a wide body. Every single car.
Nice.
Which is astonishing. Of course, cool. A lot of them are very simple, just like flaring out the stock arches, but the effort there is so much more than you'll see in like a Forza. And like, Forza is supposed to be the game that's very much more open to that sort of stuff. Like, Gran Turismo's never been about that, but all of a sudden they come out of nowhere and blow you away with all this modification. I was shocked.
No,
I'm really
Gran Turismo did used to have like the race versions of cars. You had to have the right one.
Race versions of cars, but now you can go and make you can slap tow hooks on and like bonnet pins, like even little things like that. Different roll cage options. Like, even some cars have different grille customizations, stuff like the S13 Silvia, for example. There's different fronts for different versions of the car. You can tell it's made by people who are passionate about cars, because they went and put those options into the game because they felt that they needed to, not because they could, or because, we'll not bother because they've got wide bodies, like Forza would maybe have the mentality of. They actually made a dedicated section to go and customize the grille on this specific car, and a few other ones, of course, as well. I find
pretty cool.
little things like that, like you can tell they care, and I appreciate that. It's a detail I don't see in many other games, and I quite like. I like seeing things like that.
Is that why you dropped out of, say, like iRacing in a Assetto Corsa Competizione and you prefer this one? Like, it may not have the 100% physics, but at least it's got, like, so much more fun involved with it.
The iRacing thing's actually an interesting comparison because the sport mode in GT7 is very like that, with there's safety ratings and all that stuff to look after, and that's what I look forward to because it's going to be an affordable iRacing that I don't have to sit and pay a monthly subscription for, apart from, obviously, PS Plus. That is
what I hate.
It's a lot less money, but you're not buying individual cars and tracks and all this sort of stuff unless you're using microtransactions, in which case shut the fuck up. And you get free DLC because it's Gran Turismo, so who cares? It's all happy and smiles. But yeah, as far as like online play goes, like the only game I've really even bothered with that in modern age was iRacing, because that's the whole point of it. And so now that it comes around to Gran Turismo and I've got the console to play it and the game, I'm gonna try it, and I think I'll probably have fun, but I do need to practice it. But as far as Sims go, yeah, it's not the most accurate sim, but in regards to online play, I'm probably going to play it more than other Sims, like, to be honest, when it comes to that aspect.
Interesting. So you said it's always online, even for single-player stuff. Does that mean that if you want to play single-player, you have to have PlayStation Plus still?
No, you just have to be connected to the internet. The PlayStation Plus is only for the actual online play. But if you don't have an internet connection and you jump onto the game, you'll not be able to access, like, most of the things in the standards. So there is an offline mode, and it gives you a bunch of preset races and stuff like that, but that's useless. Who cares about that? So yeah, I hope you have a stable internet connection, because my internet went down, and I had to wait for it to come back so I can actually play the game. That's unfortunate, and that has been a bit of a bother. And people have made even like what are they called, like petitions to say, oh, hey, Polyphony, can you change this? But again, I think they say it's for like anti-cheat and stuff like that to try and get rid of all that stuff. And again, I feel it's probably more a Sony thing than a Polyphony thing. But either way,
stop you from being able to edit files to be able to get free credit.
Sort of thing is what it is. But I mean, the game's not even on PC, like, so it's not. You even have a much lower chance of running into that issue to begin with. It's not impossible, obviously.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they say it's for anti-cheat, and it's not going to go away no matter what petitions get signed. So we're gonna have to live with it, and I'm going to. But yeah, it's not ideal.
Rye, how do you feel about it?
You know what? I have never owned a Gran Turismo game in my life. I've played Gran Turismo once in my life ever. Okay, wait. For all intents and purposes, like, besides like BeamNG, like 90% of the time I don't play, or I had automation, I don't play car games. I wasn't raised playing car games. I didn't play car games. Like, I mean, I started my car channel because I saw another person do. I saw Automotive Flux do videos, and I thought I could do that.
I saw you do it and thought I could do that.
Yeah, and that's why I started doing it, right? And like I enjoy cars. I enjoy like driving cars, but like in my free time, I don't play car games.
That's understandable.
Like,
I do.
Rarely.
So,
I play automation in my spare time.
Yeah, I sit and like mod the shit out of BeamNG cars. That's pretty much all I spend weeks doing. And then Gran Turismo releases and like absorbs my life. But next week I'm gonna be back fucking screwing my head over J-Beam again. Like, kill me.
I started off my car gaming experiences with CD Stunts. Have you guys ever heard of that?
I have not heard of that.
No. Yeah, it was one of those like 2.5D games where you could actually make your own maps with jumps and everything. It was really cool back in the day. And then, yeah, the really big one that drew me in, I didn't have one at the time because it was very expensive, but on PlayStation, my cousin had Gran Turismo. Game was amazing. Like, you could have a car, but you could also upgrade it and then race it again.
And there were 700 plus of them.
And you could go into like a used market. You could buy a used car. It was so good. They had
them already. It was like real life.
Yeah. Oh, it was phenomenal.
Use the oil, you wash them, bro. And you can do that again.
You wash them. It took a really long time until I was able to afford my own PlayStation. I got PlayStation 2, and the first game I got was Gran Turismo 2. Worst of the bunch, but still, I had a lot of fun with it. The 2 discs, I couldn't save because it was on PlayStation 2 and it was a PlayStation 1 game, but oh my god, I played the hell out of that. I left that PlayStation on for weeks.
Yeah, bro.
Just building up my career.
My first experience was a PS2 plopped down in front of me to entertain me while I was stuck at my dad's work after school, and it was like, these are these video games that all the cool kids in my class are playing. I finally got the money for that, but I get like chance to play now. I love cars. Let's see, what's the first game I picked up? This is probably the reason I'm in the racing games today. I picked up Burnout 3. There was a pile of 3 games there. I picked up Burnout 3. That's the reason I'm in the racing games now. Because, oh my god, I could not have picked a better option. And I went and played the share of that. And of course, there was also a 24-hour Le Mans game, I think, and some other thing. I don't even think I played the 3rd game. I just stuck and played Burnout 3 and the Le Mans game a little bit. And then when I eventually got my first PS2, Gran Turismo 4 was the first thing I jumped to. And I stuck to it. It was my #1 play thing. Along with Burnout 3, because I had to get my own copy of it as well. And I'm still playing it today, so that was a good call.
I hated it.
Really?
You're wrong. I've not played a Burnout game that I like. But I did get the Le Mans 24-hour game, and that I did enjoy. And then I was
cars are like pancakes in that game.
They weren't great.
Why are they so flat? They're like really. The proportions are very strange. That's the only thing I remember about it. I got a copy of it as well, even though I barely played
version. So I don't know. It was a bit weird though. I was also then given a couple of years later what turned out to be a reskinned version of it called Ford Racing.
Oh, bro. Ford Racing 2 was my life on the PS2.
It might actually be Ford Racing 2, the PC version.
I had Ford Racing 1 on PC, I had Ford Racing 2 on PS2, I had Ford Racing 3 on PS2, and on my DS. So I played all the Ford Racing Off-Road or whatever it was called, and also Ford Street Racing, I think it was called, which was like a Need for Speed Carbon type clone. Very strange. They literally took the Ford Racing series and put like Carbon teammate elements into it and went, hey, we're relevant. And it was terrible. But it had damage model and it was revolutionary to me at the time. Sweet. I played all the Ford Racing games.
Oh,
it's a big deal to me. It wasn't very good, I'm gonna be honest. The Ford Racing games themselves, they're fine. They're very simple, but they're cheap and they're good for what they are. But I've played every single one of them.
Have you played Rigs of Rods?
I did not, but I watched YouTube videos of it and was like, this is amazing. And then Wreckfest, like next car game thing, was like, this is amazing. And I watched BeamNG Tech demo. This is amazing. It was all these destruction car games and stuff. And Rigs of Rods was like one of the earliest ones, of course. So,
yeah, I didn't know about it until a couple of months ago when I made a video about how much I hate the BeamNG devs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I grew up watching Rigs of Rods videos. I just never knew what the game was called. I just knew it was like amazing to me. It was revolutionary. It was a game where things can be destroyed. Whoa!
Yeah.
All these years of Need for Speed where my windshield cracks. Bro, I'm not in the car.
I loved Gran Turismo, but when games started coming out with like damage physics, I was like, this is amazing! The next Gran Turismo game is going to be amazing. Didn't have damage. I was like, okay, well, maybe...
GT5 or was it GT6? Some of the cars had damage model, but when you crashed, they turned into like triangles. Like they deformed. I don't know if I have an image to show. Hold on.
I completely missed 5 and 6, so I never actually saw them.
Damage model. I remember watching a video as a kid because I was stuck on GT4 and GT6 did exist, and I was watching. Oh my god! I found the worst image. I was watching footage of it as a kid, and I was like, oh my god, this is like the best thing ever. It's like the game I play, but with damage. And well, here's what it looked like. Here's what the damage model looked like.
Oh dear.
There's the vibe. Yep. They deformed. A bit like leaving a plastic tub in a microwave. That's the best way I can put it. So there you go. That's the way Gran Turismo 6.5 damage model. 6 look the same. Let's be honest.
Okay.
I think it's realistic. I think it's realistic.
I skipped 5 and kind of missed 6, so I never actually got to play them. 4 was the last one as well for me. Until Sport. 5
was the better of those two.
Okay.
They were both a bit controversial in their own ways, though.
Cool. All right. I suppose we can move on to the next one, which will be the Tesla truck. Have you guys seen the picture that I gave you of the Tesla truck?
I have the picture up on my screen. Yes, indeed.
That is not
ugly.
The looker, is it? But it is a weird angle. But have you...
I don't think it was ever supposed to be a looker, quite frankly. I don't think that was maybe the goal of it.
I thought it looked fantastic. Like, I knew the proportions were odd, but I think they've made them more odd.
I'm leaving.
I think they've had
if you thought it ever looked fantastic, I'm leaving.
Really?
Here's the thing that I never quite understood about it though, because obviously the design is purposely gimmick. It's a marketing gimmick. Let's be honest here, and
Yes,
it works.
yes,
it works fantastically. The truck doesn't even exist yet. Still, people are still talking about it years and years later. But
It breaks windows and people cheer.
the whole thing about the design was, even from the minute it was shown, it was inevitable. It was never gonna actually release looking exactly the way it did.
Well, that and
because
also the stainless steel thing all seemed a bit odd to me. I still don't think that they're going to properly release it in stainless steel, because working in stainless steel, bare stainless steel like that, is a nightmare. And the cars are going to look all like wobbly and heat warped and all that sort of stuff. It's not going to look the way that it did. And I think if it does release, it's going to look pretty bad when people get them in their hands.
I think the extra bit on top of that as well is the number one thing I picked up on the first minute it was revealed, and I was trying to sort of decipher the design in my head, like, why would you want to do this? Well, the front end in specific for me was like, how is this going to pass pedestrian safety stuff? Because it's all
That's
like
not a problem in
angled and has
America.
sharp edges. Because obviously you have big tall trucks in America, big flat fronts, then they're gonna knock down a child regardless. But this one's got, like, it's not rounded like every other truck. There's no way that's going to pass these sort of tests. And no one seemed to, like, really question that. And I was really surprised that I was the only one who even thought that way. But seeing as the design has been changing and there's different images that show changes to different parts, I wouldn't be surprised if there's still more changes yet to come, honestly.
Well, apparently they're on. They're not really talking a whole lot about it, but apparently the design is kind of solidified. There's just a few little things, like the wheels had to change, but I think that was only just for the test one. The fact that the car has to sell. Yeah, they do. They look way too small.
And they're cheap as well. They're cheap as well.
Really?
Yeah, they look quite cheap. If you think about what it was first shown on, they were very much going with the design. These look like they were just ripped off a Polo.
Well, the picture we have there, it's
they're from a
it's
Ford.
long bed. Yeah, are they? It's a long
Even the
Actually, no,
Tesla
that's-
Model S next to it has wheels that I would more expect to see on the truck.
Yeah, so that is apparently just Ford wheels, but also they have to have mirrors. They can't have the camera mirrors because there's no regulation for that. It has to have mirrors. So it's apparently going to sell with generic mirrors, and you can have them removed if you want. And the ones which is in that video that I sent you, apparently that is Ford mirrors as well.
I see that, yes, I can see
from the Ford F pickup series of trucks. So yeah, that's an interesting one. The other thing I want to bring up is all of this anger towards companies making EVs these days. And now, what is it, Dodge has announced an EV?
Yeah.
I heard about it just today.
With that in particular, but in general, the EV stuff, absolutely, yes, it's very relevant.
Well, Twin Turbos, you go on with this one, because I only just heard about it. I don't know much about it.
I mean, like Dodge, everyone's come with an EV, right? Obviously, it's like the big hype, right? And like they sort of teased it a little bit more the other day.
What is it?
Oh, well, I mean, it's just a Ram 1500 electric truck, right? But like, they're teasing it's gonna be the most range.
Controversial to all the truck people. Yeah, they're like having a hissy fit. I see.
But like, yeah, they're just like saying it's gonna be like the best of the best electric trucks, and like everyone's just, it's like a measuring contest, right? Everyone's just trying to have like the biggest, baddest thing, right?
The biggest number, yeah.
Exactly, right? But like, I don't know. We'll see what comes of it. Everyone wants to have like marketing spotlight. I mean, Tesla is like the marketing train. Ford's been doing pretty with electric cars. But everyone else is sort of playing catch up. I mean, like,
yeah. So I think Ford muddied the waters a lot and peeved off a lot of people. And I think Ford was the crux of the new wave of anti-electric vehicle stuff. And I think it was because Ford kind of stuffed up. Ford said that they were releasing the Mustang Mach-E, which was an SUV, and I think that irritated a lot of people because there is a massive divide, really, between like people that like big vehicles and then people that are actually into like sporty driving in cars and all that sort of stuff. So like your sports cars, your muscle cars, and all that sort of stuff. So when they badged a SUV as a Mustang, that immediately is going to make everyone in that space hate
angry,
that
irritated
car.
Americans. Yes, that's what it's going to create.
And then
that's
they also
the
made it
worst
EV.
people you want in your audience, isn't it?
Yeah, so what they've done is they've angered a lot of people, and then I think they may have also done it deliberately so then they could say that the anger was towards the EV and not the fact that they are just money-grubbingly destroying their Mustang name by giving it to an SUV because they just want to smell more.
A coupe Mustang as an EV, they'd still be angry anyway, I think. So it's not necessarily entirely wrong, but also I think it's the fact it's coupled with the fact that it's not even a Mustang shape. I think it's a combination of both of those things for people.
Yeah.
Because if you're a Mustang fan, you're not an electric car fan. That's the way it works, really, in America.
I think people are worried that cars aren't going to be sporty anymore with electrification.
I think people are aware that they're super sporty. People know about electric statistics and like torque and all sorts of stuff. They know about the sportiness, but they want like the raw mechanicalness, which I can totally understand as a car enthusiast. Obviously, I very much enjoy that myself. I'll continue to enjoy combustion engines, but I feel like that doesn't. Enjoying one, I don't know why that means you can't enjoy another. Because obviously other methods of you know, it's not just internal combustion. Even like stuff like steam cars are interesting. For example, from way back, like any sort of alternative fuel. Of any sort is always interests me, and so like I don't see the reason to hate on the electric cars.
Give me a moment. I want to go get something.
Combustion. Oh, he's away. Oh,
is it?
All right, it's just me and you. He's gonna hear this in the recording. Say something like for a minute post.
So how about them prototypes?
If you're hearing this in editing. Mr. Filmer. Oh,
I'm hearing it now because I have headphones on.
Oh shit! God damn it. Okay, right. That's
you're talking about alternative fuels.
Yeah.
My grandfather, who died in like in 1995, I think, at like 94 years old, he had these like hyper Myla booklets, and like $20 each from 1982. That's quite a lot of money for these like. What they would do is they would vaporize the fuel before they go into the carburetor. And that was kind of the general gist of all of these. 200 miles per gallon carburetor, a fact or fraud, a special report. That's $13 in 1982. And then another one here that's basically the same sort of thing. $30. Vapor carburation conversion system. I kind of want to make a video on these at some point. But yeah, you just got another
very
one.
Interesting.
Another one.
Wow.
1980 for this one. The secret of the 200 miles per gallon carburetor. Obviously, this is all BS because there was never a 200 miles per gallon. There was never a good. There was never a good carburetor car.
Yeah.
I don't know where to put this. I'm going to put that there.
Anywhere, it's fine.
Well, that's very interesting, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I might do something with that, and then maybe get a.
Some bacon.
You know what? I could probably make an entire podcast out of it. Maybe we should start a podcast channel.
What's that? What's a podcast?
I'm unfamiliar with this like 40-year-old white woman thing that I've never heard of before.
Okay.
That's the average podcast listener. Come on.
Is it really?
I've listened to a podcast before.
They're like podcast fans.
Do you not listen to podcasts yourself?
No.
Huh.
No, I'm 20 years too young. I'm a man. Let me list off all the other things. I actually used to listen to some like YouTuber podcasts like years ago, but then a lot of those YouTubers turned into like dodgy people. So,
apparently, because you've said this a few times now, and I think it's coming around. Was your favorite YouTuber of all time Minilad?
No, but he's from my country, and I hate that.
Okay, then. Because he turned out to be dodgy. He's actually made a comeback now on YouTube doing reaction reviews.
Why is he like... Why? I don't understand why he still has an audience. Much smaller than before, but why is he still there? And he actually fled
much smaller.
He moved back here whenever all the controversy broke out. So he's literally living in the same fucking country as me right now.
I thought he was living in America still.
Oh, no, he moved back. He moved back the minute it all broke and he went silent. The last bit of news of him was like he moved back and then he like resurfaced on the internet again. I'm pretty sure he's still here.
He's also like, he's looking like a Chad. Like the guy's tatted up. He's got like different hair. He's trying
to change his identity entirely, really. I think.
Is that what a Chad is? Is that what a Chad is?
He's wearing a wife beater top sort of thing.
Is that what a Chad is? That's not what a Chad is.
You keep wearing your maid outfits.
That's not what a Chad is.
What's a Chad then?
I'll let you find that on your own, sweetheart.
Okay, maybe because when I hear Chad, the first thing that comes to mind is a douchey douchebag sort of person. The country.
I mean, I think we're just talking about Chads now. A Chad is, I don't know, like a Chad's like, you know, like
look at pictures of me. Understood. Assignment assignment completed.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, apparently I don't know what a Chad is.
One's looking very uncomfortable.
He's too old. Phil's too old. I gotta make the jab.
God damn it! I can't think of. Maybe Chad isn't quite the right word, but I'm trying to think of like Bogan. He looks like a Bogan.
Bogan, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And everyone knows what a Bogan is, right?
No. It's Australian. That's what it is.
No. Redneck.
Yeah. Okay.
What's that?
God damn it!
We don't have those here. We've got moose.
You say you're Canadian, but you have not apologized once this entire podcast so far.
Sorry.
There you go. Now
There
I
you
believe it. All right.
Now we're on the same page.
The final topic for
Australia, you
today.
haven't started drinking rapidly yet. What's that about? Come on.
I am the exception to the rule. I hate the taste of alcohol. I think it is
Fair
the
enough.
worst thing since the invention of cancer.
Oh.
When it was invented with humanity 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Hopefully I've not offended anybody by making fun of that. Yeah, so the final thing is the T33. Have you guys seen this yet?
Yes, I have.
What are your guys' thoughts?
It looks like a car from Burnout Revenge in real life.
Oh,
That's
okay.
That's about the best assessment I can give. It's very strange. The proportions are very odd. It's like the side of the car, the door's like taking up sort of half of it, but the roof line's fairly basic. And as for the little round tail lights at the back, it's pretty much just a very Gordon Murray thing at this point. And the front end just looks like a bootleg McLaren. So I gotta say, I don't really have any overshot expectations of it. It is just has a big smiley face at the front. That doesn't look amazing. But some of the ones I'm looking at here have different front ends, and they look better.
I have only really two things that I want to say on it. One, it looked a little bit too much like the T50, the bigger one, looked a little bit too much like the old McLaren, and I just wasn't a big fan of the T50 already, especially the back end. I thought the back end was hideous. The other thing is they're trying to now do this whilst the T50 isn't even released yet. Are they a YouTuber? It's like, I've recorded a video, but I'm already bored of this project, so I'm going to record a new
Publicity.
video.
Yeah.
Whenever you're making cars like this, you're making them in very limited numbers and probably trying to make them on. I assume a car like this would be quite expensive to make, and you're probably trying to charge quite a large profit on it as well, with quite a small audience compared to your big rivals. And so,
I think this one is already pretty
trying
well
to get press on them is it's well known most certainly. But if you're spending this much money in a car, you're going to get a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or a McLaren, and not bootleg Chinese looking McLaren.
These cars cost a lot more than any Ferrari, McLaren, Lamborghini.
Oh, they do. Oh, they absolutely do. And that is also a big part of why what I said about like they're probably making these cars on probably not a very low budget, and so they're probably trying to make quite a big profit off it, and so they're trying to go with a we're special approach to here's why you
it's
should
also
buy
designed by
this
Gordon
for this
Murray.
money. And also, the Gordon Murray name to it obviously is a big part of it, because that's obviously McLaren. It's all.
It's designed and engineered by Gordon Murray.
I'd also not heard about Gordon Murray until a couple of years ago when they were talking about the T50 being the first road fan car, of which it was not.
Yeah, it's also like, so I was looking at price
in mass production, perhaps, but it hasn't actually started being produced yet, has it?
That's true.
No, it hasn't.
So we're still sort of waiting on that claim being fulfilled. And even then, mass in quotations, I don't think they're going to make that many.
No, the like the T50, they're already all sold out, and I'm pretty sure the T33 is already all sold out. Like they sold
so what is the price? You said it was quite expensive?
The T33,
1.3 million.
Oh, okay, I'm looking at probably different currency, right? 1.85 million.
Okay, 1.3 million pounds. Which in Australian would be, your Australian dollars would be 2.6 million, roughly.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
It's insane.
So these cars aren't for like enthusiasts; they're for collectors.
For a tenth of the price, you can have a McLaren 570S, and it looks just as ugly. So there you go.
They're for the oil barons, which are currently going to be very flush with money with what's
all your Saudi oil princes can have this car. All three of them that get made. So yeah,
that's insane.
That's what they're going for. That's how they're making their money.
And I think they're also, in my opinion, a bit ugly. Like, they're not really ugly. They're just a little bit ugly, in my opinion.
They're not a 1.3 million. I think it's kind of a cool ugly, this T33 and the T50 as well. It's kind of a cool ugly. I love seeing the big fan at the back. Not pretty, but it's cool.
I think it's less ugly than the T50.
Weird. I'll give it that. I mean, it's more naturally shaped. I think the T50 is trying to accommodate a lot. That fan at the back is a big part of it. T30 a lot more rounded, more smoother. It flows a bit better. Like I said, it looks like a car from Burnout Revenge, and it's kind of funny and it's kind of futuristic, but sort of old-fashioned, but new at the same time. It's all right. I'm looking at pictures here. I don't mind it. The big smiley face at the front, not super keen on it. But the way the roofline flows and everything, the side profile, the wheels and everything work really great. I don't really have much issue with it. I think it's fine. The round tail lights are kind of funky too. I'm okay with that also.
You just wish that it would knock off your socks, kind of like a 1.9 million car should, or $1.8 million car should.
I guess so, but when cars get this expensive, I sort of stop caring because I know that I don't care that much. So I leave it to the Sayola Princess to care about because they're the ones who are going to be owning it.
The Lamborghini Diablo SV and the Murcielago SVs, I thought looked fantastic. The events
they have a retro appeal to them now, even more than they did at the time. And at the time, they were still fantastic looking. And to a lot of people, this car looks fantastic as well for modern. But when you compare it to a lot of other modern stuff, modern design now is usually a lot of it's focused around over designing. And so whenever I see a Lamborghini with a million triangles and edges, I'm like, okay. But when I see this and it's sort of more simple, I actually find it more appealing than some of these other cars that are more complicated. I kind of like, in an age where so many, even regular road cars like a Toyota Prius is so angular and everything, seeing like a super expensive, like supercar like this, you take on a more simple approach. Maybe not for this money, but if it was like much cheaper than this and it was this shape, like the Maserati MC20, is that what they call it? That's a more simple shape. I'm not a big fan of it, but it's a more simple shape, and I'm okay with that. And it's a cheaper car too, for what it is in its market anyway. So that I sort of appreciate that there's some simplicity still in car design, especially even in the more luxurious tiers like this, or if you can call it exotic, I suppose is the word I'm looking for.
I get it.
But so it's kind of refreshing to see something a bit more simple. But maybe maybe for this money you would expect it to be a bit more like a Lamborghini with triangles and arrow everywhere.
Well, here, put it this way. Money, no issue. You had the choice of being given one or the other, and you didn't want to resell it or anything like that. The T33, the T50, or the Corvette mid-engine one?
The Corvette.
The Corvette?
Live with it. You could live with the Corvette, that's the thing. It would be more practical to just use as a car. If I wanted to flex, if I could sell it, I would go the T50 because that's kind of a wild machine, isn't it?
Obviously. So, even if like repairing and all that sort of stuff was not an issue,
I don't think it'd be worth waiting for the car to be repaired if you could just be already out in your Corvette and living life.
Fair enough.
And you have lots of other people with Corvettes who you can join in with. You got car clubs to join. No, who else is driving around on a Gordon Murray T33? Let's meet up. Oh, what's that? You're speaking Arabic and you're all the way across the world. You own like a biggest oil refinery in the east. Yeah. I understand. That's fine. I too wake up in the morning and have the finest, most expensive dish possible and snort down a whole line afterwards, and I get back into my Gordon Murray T33 and go screaming through the hills. Oh, what's that? You don't even drive it because it's too expensive? Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Some people do drive it. Some people do drive it, but like I mean, I think like the T50, like the Corvette's great, right? It's like, you know, the Z06 with the flat plane crank V8 and stuff, but like compare that to a 12,100 RPM V12. Which is what the T50 is. Like it's basically a race car, right? Because it is a race car engine, right? Which is why, like, one reason why it's so special. But like, I mean, like, you know, I was reading, I can't remember the exact thing, but I know there's actually some controversy going around about like Gordon Murray's involvement in Gordon Murray Automotive and like the T50 and the T33, and how like don't sue me, Gordon Murray, but like there was like I was reading controversy. I can't remember right now exactly. I can find the articles, but it's like talking how like he's got like very limited, like very minimal involvement. And he's pretty much just cashing in on everything on just on his name, and he's like
what
doing.
A surprise!
That's what I was reading about. Like, how like he pretty much did like not much at all, and yeah, it's like just totally cashing in. Like
that
the
actually makes sense.
Your feet, but you know, I don't know. They're for the rich. The toys for the rich. I mean, I would still take the T50 because 12,100 RPM.
I do like that sound. But then...
It's an F1 engine, basically.
I've played automation. I know how easy it is to get an engine to go that high in RPM. I don't know why other car manufacturers don't do it.
It's true. I added the J-Beam one time and I revved my car to 100,000 RPM.
Yeah, what's the issue? I see no problem here.
Yeah, sounded fine.
Gordon Murray, step up your game and get involved more. Maybe you'd have a 100,000 RPM engine by now, or maybe even a 200 mile per gallon
carburetor. Yeah. Well, that has been our... Hold on, let me see how long we've been going for. Has this been a long enough stream?
No, the runtime too long.
This is probably still quite a short thing. I have been recording an hour, but I was recording a long intro. With I'm probably going to edit most of that away, so this is not going to be an hour long. But yes, I hope everyone has enjoyed this. Please subscribe. Please share it around if you know other people might like these two people here and the one person that's heard about me. Maybe share that with them. Has anybody actually heard of Twin Turbos? How many subs do you have again?
I lost count. I can't count that high.
Maybe it's at least 2. It's at least 2.
Well, I do have 2 other YouTube accounts that are subscribed to myself. You know, I gotta get that.
Okay, mom and dad, I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
I have 2 subscribers that I can rub together, kind of like pennies, which is how much I earn a month.
12 YouTube accounts. Don't talk about it.
All right, guys. Thank you very much, and we'll catch you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Good ending. Good. Yeah, it's over now.
Sick.
But I'm going to keep recording for like a couple more seconds.
Whoa.
And now.
I need it now.
The after show.
Against my will. I'm not being paid for this section.
Welcome to the after show.
Alright, welcome to the next one. I've actually got another Google Doc pulled up. We're going to have it prepared in advance.